This video will show numbers 23 through 30 on page 214. So this has everything mixed together with your multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting monomials. So again, just take it one thing at a time. So for instance, for 23, you want to get the top all down to a single term. So we multiply 4 times 3 to give us 12. X, now we add our exponents to get 9. So we're multiplying our big numbers, we're adding our little numbers, and then over, we didn't need to do anything to the bottom, so just bring that over as 6x to the 6th. Now it's division, so we divide. 12 divided by 6 is 2, then we subtract our exponents to get x to the 3rd. So that simplifies to 2x to the 3rd. For 24, this time we're going to leave the top as it is. And then the bottom, 4 times 7 is 28. N to the 10th. We add our exponents. So 6 over 28, you need to divide both of those by 2. You get 3 over 14. When you subtract, you get n to the negative 7th. 3 minus 10 would give us negative 7. So that means the n to the 7th needs to go to the bottom. So 3 over 14n to the 7th. When you have a fraction times a single term, like we do in 25 and 26, there are 2 ways you can do it. They're actually set up to make it easier for you, so you have smaller numbers, okay? But you actually can think of this as over 1, so then you can multiply your fractions together, just one big fraction. I'm going to do it how they have it set up, though, just because it is a little bit easier. So what that means is we need to divide. Negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9, a to the 5th. Remember, we subtract our exponents. Times 5a squared. So you're going to bring that multiplication just down. So that gives us negative 45 a to the add your exponents to get 7. So it also would have worked if you did negative 18 times 5 to get negative 90. So again, this is if you did not divide first. You actually multiplied first, which is fine. So you would get negative 90 a to the 10th when you add those over 2a to the 3rd. And then you divide. Negative 90 divided by 2 gives you your negative 45, and then subtract to get a to the 7th. So whichever way you feel more comfortable with is up to you. Again, they kind of have it set up to make it a little bit simpler before multiplying, but that's up to you. So when we look at 26, again, if you want to put these 2 top things together instead and then divide, you can. Or if you do it the way it's set up, bring down the 9w to the negative 4th times 48 divided by 6 is 8w. 1 minus 3 gives us negative 2. Then we multiply our numbers, 72x to the negative 6th when we add those. So our final answer needs to take that down to the bottom, 72 over x to the 6th. (27), again, you have 2 options. You could simplify the c term, simplify the d term, and then put it all together. I personally would not. I would get the top all as one thing and the bottom all as one thing. So I'm going to look at this as 80 cd to the 4th. And then on the bottom, 16c to the 8th d squared. So I would prefer just to have one big set of terms like that. and then do my division. So 80 divided by 16 gives me 5. When I subtract, that gives me c to the negative 7 and d to the second. So then your c needs to go down. So 5d squared over c to the 7th. So for 28, you're going to multiply 6 times negative 8 is negative 48, r to the negative 1, s to the 6th, over 10 times 4 is 40, r to the 4th, s to the negative 3rd. So we need to simplify negative 48 over 40. 8 goes into both of those, so negative 6 over 5. R would be to the negative 5th, negative 1 minus 4. S would be to the positive 9. 6 minus negative 3 is positive 9. So that R needs to come down. So your final answer is 6s to the positive 9, negative, over 5r to the 5th. $29. Since it's subtraction, you have to make sure your variables match before you subtract. So that means you do need to simplify this first. Just like order of operations, you have to multiply and divide before you add or subtract. So 15 divided by 3 is 5, x to the 5th, y to the 6th, and they do match up above. So minus 7x to the 5th, y to the 6th. So remember, when you are adding and subtracting, the only thing that changes is the coefficient. So 5 minus 7 is negative 2. The x to the 5th and the y to the 6th have to stay the same. Number 30, we have to do this multiplication before we can do the addition. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. Add our exponents, m to the 3rd, n to the 7th. So it does match, so we can add them together. If you do one of these problems with addition or subtraction and your exponents don't match, that means something went wrong. 8 plus 11 is 19. Exponents stay the same, m to the 3rd, n to the 7th. That's your final answer.